Okay, well, I'm done up in here. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice? 2 layers of 2x6s cross-hatched up there, and I also stuck construction adhesive all the way around the edges, even though I put it up underneath each 2x6 before I screwed it up there. I ran it along the sides because that's almost like nails or staples, screws or anything like that from the outside. You know, if you were building this from scratch, you would nail the OSB on with a nail gun or nails or something like that. So all the way around I've put liquid nails, and that's going to help bond it. Wasn't quite sure what to do over on this side because I can't really put liquid nails up against the paper, and I decided to put paper here just to kind of isolate this 2x4, this 2x6, because it was slightly dry rotted, not very bad. So I put those little clips on there. See, that's just half of that metal stud. And I used 1/2 inch screws there going into the OSB because that's only 1/2 inch. And then I used 1 1/4 inch, those rust-proof screws. And then I even did it up that edge to kind of, just to bond this plywood over there to help hold it all together. I mean, granted, I got it attached up at the top, and this piece here comes down further, and it's nailed to this 2x6, and it will be nailed down here. But I just thought, I had some extra clips, and I would put those clips up in there. Okay, and then the bolt. See the bolt right there? See it sticking out? Remember how I pre-drilled it? Because I wanted to make sure it went through there nice and easy. And there's a top one up there too. Let's see if you can see it. Right there. And I just have those stuck out a little bit, so when I put the 2x6, up there, the long one, I'm just going to hit that with a hammer, and then I'm going to bring it back down, see where it's indentated, and then pre-drill it, back those screws off. I'll just back those bolts off a little bit after I get them marked. I'll back them off, and then after I drill, I'll put the 2x6 back up in there, and then I'll put liquid nails on the back side of the flat 2x6. It's going out this way, 1.5 inches from here over, just like this one here. Okay, it'll be just like this up against that wall. I'll even put some on the back of the 2x6 as I fish it up in there. Yeah, and then once I get a couple screws in it, maybe 3 screws, boom, 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 and I'll have to use 2-inch screws on that because this is only 1/2 inch, right? And 1.5 inches and 1/2 inch. So 2-inch screws, because I don't want it to break through the paper, because the stucco's just beyond that. See? A layer of stucco thickness there. Man, I had to think a lot about this. And then I got the screws there too, one there and one up there. Man, that was a real pain to do because it was only 1.5 inches from before. No, 2-inch, I guess. This screw was only a 2-inch. Because of the angle, I was having a heck of a time getting that one out, and I kind of had to push it over off to the side over here, and I got a 2.5 inch in there. I was able to fish it up in there kind of at a slight angle, and I knew that the stucco was about 1/2 inch thick, maybe a little bit more, and I could get it started into my backside of my siding, my plywood, my OSB plywood. And at that point I thought I could raise it up, because then there's enough room between this and there. And I had to use my little crescent wrench, my spanner wrench. This was the length that was before. And see, that was even tricky to get in there. Can you imagine? I got a 1/2 inch one longer than that, and I hardly marked up the bottom of that at all. I marked up just a little, not much. And I got a little bit longer one in there because this was only sticking out of the OSB maybe 1/4 of an inch or so. And so I knew it wasn't grabbing on the backside of the 2x6, the existing old 2x6 that I tore out of there. So I thought, I want to make these stick into the 2x6 further, because right now I've got another 1/2 an inch to go, and it's sticking out inside beyond the OSB right now. See, about 1/4 inch. So it's gonna go in the 2x6 a little bit. I mean, I could have used a little bit longer ones even, but you know, that's just gonna kind of help it. And I'll have liquid nails on the back side of the flat 2x6 that I have going up there, because see, there's going to be 3 of them. One there, 5.5 inches, and then another flat one, and then another one right here, because that's how it was before. Remember, there was one piece here, and then there was another piece there, and then there was a piece right in there, and that one was just kind of flopping at the bottom. Same thing over here, 2x6 here, 2x6 here, and a 2x6 down there. And see, once I put the plywood on there, once I get the new 2x6 down there, I'll hold it up off of the concrete just a little bit, and then I can actually screw it right into the bottom plate. See, on both sides. I mean, the other thing I could do is take some old redwood and then put a block down there like that, and then stick it on top of that, you know. But I'm going to get some meat to it, and I'm going to screw it to that. You're not supposed to have Douglas fir touching concrete, and that's why this was mud sill. It was green before, remember? And I painted it, and it had all those lines in it because they dimple it, and then they saturate it with some creosote material, and then they make it so that it can touch concrete and it's not going to rot out. The other thing most people used to do is use redwood, but redwood is not, I mean, that's okay to do too, but redwood is not as strong as this other wood here that they now call mud sill. Okay? Alright. Not that you wanted to know that. But anyways, I'm feeling pretty good about how this looks right now. And now I'm going to have to take my platform down. And I was wondering, once I take the platform down, I'm going to put the plywood on the side, on this side, on the back side. And I was wondering if after that, once I fish 2x6s up in there, if I could still have this platform smaller, because mind you, I'm going to be between here and here. This is going to be that much smaller for me to get way up in there to reach the top. And I'm not quite sure exactly. What I may have to do is I may have to just make this a little bit lower, and I'll still be able to reach up there. Now that I got 2 layers up there of 2x6, that's 3 inches plus the plywood 3.5. I could probably make this 4 or 5 inches shorter and still reach the top, because once I put the 2x6s up there and screw them in, I think I might want to get up at the very top and put a clip at the top of the 2x6 on the side of it, and then going up to the top just to kind of hold it. I'm not sure yet. We'll see what happens. Okay, but all these different things I've got to think about to rebuild this. Yeah, I didn't want to tear down this whole stucco, and I wanted to make it all nice. Now I've got nice new OSB plywood in there. I've got the top just like how it was before, even if not better, because that, you have to remember, there's a big huge cap on top of the columns. See that cap there? That's a concrete cap. Well, it kind of looks like stone. It's pretty cool. You know how it goes up at an angle like that. And so this bad boy right here, man, this is really heavy, and that's on top. Before they put that up, they did the stucco, and they wrapped and put stucco over the top too before this. That way they could waterproof the top of that and everything. Sounded like a good idea. And then they put a mortar base, and then they stuck this on top of that. So there's the mortar base, and then there's a 1/2 inch thick to 5/8 thick stucco on the top of this before it rolls down the sides. Now theory has it, if I didn't put those 2x6s up there, would anything have ever happened? Probably not. But I didn't want to take any chances, especially in the wind and stuff like that. This is going to make it a lot more sturdy, because I thought once I put the plywood up there, I could use the 2x6s and wedge it between each one, because some of that up there, I couldn't have it as tight as I wanted. And so then I would measure the 2x6 and make it just a little bit longer, and then I could squeeze out and push out the sides. And now I've got a nice tight box up there. The OSB plywood goes up 3 inches above the 2x6, flat 2x6s up there. That's all nice and sturdy. And I even put an extra piece here because I wanted an extra paper barrier, even though there was the existing, but I wanted paper barrier for the whole thing, so I couldn't very well have done that on the other side. In case this one rots out or something, I've still got this on the inside of it. I've got this other paper. Seems as though I had to do everything else. I thought, hey, I might as well do it to the best of my ability, right? Okay, so that's what I want you to get involved with too. When you do something, do it to the best that you can. All right, I still, you know, once I get the column done, then I can finish up the stairs, you know, the stair support underneath here, the stringers I'm going to reattach, and I'm going to run this across here, and that ties in to my box. So I have to really think about that before I cover it up. I've got to put some blocks in there for backing, and then I'll probably put a vertical flat one from the block on down even, and that'll take the weight of this double bit here, because that's going to help hold these stairs. You know what, I could probably leave it just like this and the stairs would probably be fine, but again, I'm going the extra mile because I know I should get the stringers attached up here properly, and that's going to help keep this from ever sagging. Granted, it's a 4x12 that's spanning 5 feet. I don't think it's ever going to sag, you know. But again, I'm going to build it how it was built before, and this thing is going to be like an elephant can walk over this thing when I get done with it. Okay, that's how I roll. And again, obviously your project is not going to be exactly like my project. It never will. No way, no how. But when you watch the different videos that I do, hopefully you'll catch on how to cut something, how to make some clips, how to pre-drill something, how to measure for plywood, how to cut plywood, how to do different things, why I went ahead and painted this, why I put Clorox on it before this, and all of that kind of stuff. You know, you can pick up all kinds of know-how so that when you get ready for your project, you'll be rip raring to go, and whenever you come into a questionable area, you'll think, what would Joe do? Or you just think, hey, if Joe can do it, I can figure this thing out too. He's shown me a lot of different things and how he's figured out different things. And I think I can do it now. I feel confident that, shoot, Joe's just an average guy. And I'll do the same.